Hello, hello, Sagittarius. Sorry, I took a swig of water, and of course, I don't think my mouth is actually where it is. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let me get set up here, just so you're ahead of the game. Welcome. My name is Patty, and I'm an empath with. I do it every time. I want to say Get Balanced 2020 with Divine Warrior Intuitive. And I am an empath, but I'm also intuitive, extremely intuitive. And that's what these readings and sessions are about, using tarot, of course. And I say we because the divine sends me people who feel that they can help and guide you and hopefully help you with any struggles or challenges that you're going through in this next week, or bring you some good news, that kind of thing. So if you're brand new, please go to the About on my channel and read how I do my readings. I'm not going to take all that time to do that right now. And for those that are returning, thank you, appreciate it. If you have subscribed, I appreciate that as well. If you are new and you would like to subscribe and get all the new upcoming videos, and also to know when I'm live, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And then once you hit subscribe, there should be a bell where you can get notifications on when I'm actually coming on live. So the new news is, one, thank you for coming to this channel, because I had another channel and people are like, well, why is her subscription so low? Because I actually transferred my other channel, and not transferred it. I had to restart a new channel here because I goofed. I'm a boomer, and my daughter said, Mom, you started out all wrong. So thank you for coming to this channel. This is my permanent home. This is where you'll be able to find the Divine Warrior Intuitive from now on. So please subscribe to this channel. The other new news is that I am doing all my readings live. So most readers, we actually do them live, and then we record them because we're maybe doing something, or we're on a vacation or whatever like that. So I am going to do my readings live, unless I am on a vacation, but then I will forewarn you that they will be pre-recorded. And this gives you also the opportunity to ask a question. So you can ask one or two questions, and towards the end of the reading, I will answer those questions then, only because I don't want to interrupt the reading for that sign, because what happens is then I get locked into a different energy, and then that energy may change. So I want to be able to answer your questions, but do them at the end of my readings. So save your question till almost about the middle or towards the end, depending on how many people are on. You can see how many people are in the chat. And if there is nobody, just post your question. If there is somebody, just go ahead and post your question towards the end, and the divine, not me. So whoever the divine is sending through will look at the questions and see which one they want to respond to live. Now, if you have a question still and you really want to get it answered, put it in the comment, and I will respond when I work on the website again in the evening, and I'm back into that meditative state. So please make sure that you do that, because I want to be here for you guys, and I love the interaction. So that's why I'm going to be doing them live. So let's get started. So Sagittarius, we are actually doing August 3rd through the 9th, this session. Sorry, I got a big belly, so I hit the table. Anyway, so we're going to be doing August 3rd through the 9th. And for those that are brand new, the oracles that I'm doing, I usually do them in the beginning. And this is to get your energies and vibrations, to know what this is going on for this week, and where it's to lead you. Maybe you're going through a struggle. Maybe you need some good news. Maybe you actually just have a question that you want to answer that may get answered. So, and then usually, interesting, these came out together. Usually there's one oracle card. Sometimes divine will give me two, which is great. That's not a problem. But like the last reading I did for Capricorns, I believe it was, they asked me to actually pick an oracle at the end. So sometimes that will happen. And the reason why is maybe I'm not getting a clarification I need, or maybe I'm questioning in my head, well, hey, I just am not catching something. And sometimes it will give me the answer that I'm seeking for to help you guys. And it did. I was really surprised at the response, because I was like, oh yeah, well, why didn't I think of that? Because it would all make sense, and it helped me make sense towards the end. So, Sagittarius, what do we got going for this next week? So I'm going to look at the cards for a minute just to see if there is anything Divine wants me to look at. Oh. Okay. All right, so we've got the gentle gardener, and then we have slow and steady. So the gentle gardener is to be mindful, and she's an overseer, so they're overseers, sort of like the hermit card, you know, kind of thing. But the other thing is they're very gentle, very loving, caring, of light kind of thing. The other one is slow and steady. Whoops, sorry about that. Slow and steady. The one thing that they wanted me to focus in on is this little bubble here, and also the energy that is actually over here. So this is a spiritual energy, and this is divine energy. So slow and steady. So we're working on spirit, it looks like. But I'm not quite sure what's coming up in your future for this week. So I don't know what's going on in your life. I'm going to move this back so I have more room for my spread. So that's again, I don't know if it's being carried over from last week or if it's actually being carried, you know, from this week forward. So, and this also too, thank you. So this also too may be directly for you yourself, or it actually could be for you to share with someone else, or someone else is trying to share something with you. So, or do something with you or help you, or vice versa. So if you're listening to this and it's like, well, this doesn't resonate with me, you know, we don't want to be a me society. Maybe it's somebody that is coming in contact with you, or you're coming in contact with them in this next week. Because as we go through our weeks, this life is not about us. It doesn't stop with us. We're the conduit to help and grow others. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to teach or grow. Well, the thing is that we all have something to teach or grow. And it just could be a little thing that you don't even think matters, when it could be a humongous thing to someone else. So just think that you always have something to give and offer someone. So let's see what Divine and whoever Divine sends through. And a lot of these new people are like, what do you mean she's talking to the Divine? Well, that's where I go for my information. I always go to the highest of the highest powers. I go to my God, and then that's where everybody should go to, their spirit, whoever that is for them. But I go there because if I go to ancestors and archangels and guides, well, maybe if I call on my guide, my spiritual guide, or my angels, then maybe I'm shutting that door to your angels or your guides, and that's what I need to be listening to. So that's why I say I don't know who is coming through, but it does come through. All right, so we got a first card out. So obviously something is happening because we have the Devil card, first card out. Now, if a lot of you know about the Devil card is it's the end of something. You're being bonded to something that is maybe toxic, something that is, there's a spiritual war there going, kind of thing. Yeah, so you're this gentle gardener and slow and steady. So something is already there telling you beware, hold on, take a observance of something. And that made 100% when the Two of Wands came out, because it came out upside down. So when it comes up upside down, then actually this card is supposed to be upright. When it comes upright, it means that you're thinking of the far future. You're thinking of things and planning things ahead. Might be some travel. Might be some things coming up that you're planning for. So it came up upside down. So when it comes up upside down, what that means is that you're actually not planning way out in the future, which in some cases that can be good because we need to think of now. But the other thing is, are you planning at all? So there's something here that slow and steady is a good thing. And the thing is that something's in the way. Something's keeping you bondage from planning forward, moving forward. Could be the COVID for all we know, right? Could be something of that nature that could be getting in the way. Same as if there was travel planned, and whether it's far or not, it could be actually that it was canceled. Maybe you're going to do it later, that kind of thing. So I'm not quite sure what that's about. We'll see what all that is about here shortly. So the gentle gardener is my question, sort of what's going on with that. It's like, what is going on with these cards? It seems like in these last few readings, it's the same cards over and over and over again. So we have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups has another person involved. Well, a lot of the times when the devil shows up, it could be. But we're actually tending the garden. Thank you. So when we look at the gentle gardener, you're thinking of a gardener. Thank you. They're giving me all this stuff right now in my head. And what I'm being told is that, we look at somebody else's stuff. We look at their stuff and we think, oh, that looks so nice. Or look at their garden, or look at their grass, or look at their lawn, or look at their husband, or look at their job, look at their boat, look at their cars, look at their... But we have to realize that tending a garden takes a lot of work. It does take a lot of work, and it is very slow and steady. Think of if you don't do a garden, how slow we have to plant the seed, or if you start from starters like I do, you have that little starter and it takes time, and you got to water it, and you got to weed, and you got to cultivate a little bit, and so your air gets down below, and you got to put poo on there for manure, fertilizer. It takes a lot of work, right? So when we look at somebody else's garden all the time, rather than trying to mend and take care of our garden, that could be a relationship, that could be a job, that could be studies, school studies, that could be a relationship. We're responsibility for ourselves, but also ourselves to mend and cultivate and grow a garden. And what is that garden for you right now? That's up to you. I mean, that's why you're here, is you're trying to figure something out, to cultivate something, to grow to something that you desire and want, right? So something is standing in your way to do that. But you have to know the intent of what it is that what's the end result that you really, really want? Because you're not planning for that end result. You're just wanting to go the path. And it looks like it has to do with another person. It could be a friend. It could be, maybe somebody you want to travel with. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a friendship that wants to grow into a relationship. Maybe I don't think it's a family member, or maybe you do want to patch something up with a family member. I'm the black sheep of my family, so it would be really nice to have some conversation with them and everything, but I've cultivated and cultivated, and here's the thing about gardens is you can cultivate and cultivate and grow and grow and grow, but if there's something wrong with that plant that you're trying to grow, if there is something dysfunctional, if there's something wrong in the DNA, if there's something wrong in there, and it just decides to wilt and die, that is nothing that you can do. All you can do is say, I've given my best effort. I've given my best try. So that's the same with my brothers. I have 2 brothers left. That's all. I can cultivate and stop calling, stop. But if it's not in their DNA to call me, or if it's not their DNA to email me or whatever, I have no control of that, and I have to accept that. Same with the situation, whatever is going on. I don't know why I went there, but apparently it's meant for somebody out there. So if that's your situation, even with a family member, just slow and steady. And it's up to you whether you want to keep cultivating that garden or not. Queen of Pentacles is the next one up. a very loving woman, not a very spiritual. Actually, I shouldn't say woman. It could be a man, but not very spiritual. Very smart, very intelligent individual. More of monetarily type, more of the earth side rather than the spirit side. So looking at things from a more logical perspective, thank you, than a spiritual perspective is what I'm saying. Whoever this is involved here, please understand that they probably are sort of stuck because they're from a more logical and not spiritual thinking. And what I mean by spiritual thinking is that are you listening to your heart and what your heart is saying? Because a lot of the times our intuitions in anything that we do, whether we cultivate or not, even if it's a relationship, well, I'm going to do this, and I you know, he likes this or she likes this, and I'm going to do this, and you know, maybe he'll, you know, change, or maybe she'll change, maybe he'll like me more, or maybe, you know, a lot of the times people leave us because it's their issues and not ours. But if we don't know who we are, how can somebody come in and really give it their all? Because they're doing everything that they know how to do, but we actually don't know ourselves enough. And even though we want them, we don't even know ourselves enough to tell them what we need, guy or girl, right? Next one is King of Wands. Very confident, very much looking for authority. Of course, there's an authority figure, looking more towards spirit. So it looks like what we have here, and Divine was asking me to look at the bubble and the spirit of things in your going and steady. So they're asking to, whatever you're going through that you're not really planning, and then there's something keeping you stuck, is to start looking for your answers on the spiritual side, not the earthly logical side. This happened to my daughter this morning. I was really excited because she doesn't realize she's an empath and her abilities are growing. But the thing is that we sometimes try to look so much at the logical things right in front of us, we miss what's actually being said or out there. So spiritually, we want to do that, because it's interesting that this Queen and King came up side by side. So you have one that's more spiritual here, more earthly here, one more materialistic, one not so materialistic. All right. So what more for this Sagittarius? What's going on in this garden of theirs? Tend it gently. Tend it gently. I keep having a hair. I'm losing my hair a lot lately. I think my diet. I got to get back on my diet. As I coach nutrition and fitness for my Get Balanced 2020. It's a nutritional thing, I think. Hormones and nutrition. Anyway, so what is there more for here, please? Slow and steady. Is this a relationship? Oh, okay. So the Five of Pentacles comes up. Okay, so there's some arguing going on, or some miscommunication, some arguing, some ego. Oh dear. Okay. So we have some, first one that came up is the Five of Pentacles. Then we have actually the Five of Wands. I was going to say swords, but it's not. Wands. And the thing is, in this situation, somebody's not being heard and feeling sort of left out. Like, how do I get across? How do I figure this out? How do I communicate without arguing? How do I communicate with this person or whatever's going on? And get them to understand me. Thank you. So somebody's not being understood very well, and because the Death card came in. Now remember, the Devil came out straight up front in the very beginning. Sorry. And the thing is that the death card came in upside down. So that means that it's not over, not finished. So there is more to come. So now is the time how to figure this out. So because and that's what this is saying. It's not over, so you need to take it slow and steady. You need to figure each step out, and you need to do it with gentleness, kindness, and spirit. So you need to figure something, you need to figure out how to communicate with whomever this person is. So I don't know if this person, because the Lover card didn't come up. It did come up as the Two of Cups. So, I mean, there's a unity there. It could be a partnership. It could be a coworker. It could be a classmate. Could be anything of that nature. So that's for you to decide. I can't tell you because it doesn't say that it is a relationship, you know, intimate or anything. It could be an intimate relationship, but I didn't see the Lover's card. Now, if I clarify and it comes up, then we'll know. But when it comes to communication, there's on Get Balanced 2020, there's a whole thing about communication, about diffusing arguments and that kind of thing. But as I would say right now is I would say whenever you do, start having a conversation, whether it is in relation to this or in just life in general, if somebody begins to raise their voice, you know, diffuse it. Sometimes people diffuse arguments or disagreements or discussions. They call them discussions, but they're really the same thing. They diffuse it. Maybe somebody, you know, knows that that person likes to be funny. Just, you know, sometimes cutting a joke. Sometimes just saying, hey, let's take 5 minutes away or 10 minutes away to take a walk separately and come back and then discuss it. Or maybe even need a day break and just say, hey, this is not going the way that we need to. Maybe discussing this later when we have more time, because a lot of people start discussions and arguments in the wrong places. You need to set up an appointment to sit down and discuss something of a serious nature. Because anytime we're moving slow and steady, there's going to be things that do come up that do need to be discussed, maybe more in private or maybe more at a more appropriate time. The grocery store is not a place to start. I hear so many, and it's just like, I want to just take them and coach them and say, you know what, here, take this home and do this. Not around the children. Not around the children. But a lot of the times diffusing it is all you need to do. The other thing is to stay calm. Your voice needs to stay calm. The more that you can stay calm, the more that things can get accomplished and solutions done. It's when those voices start rising, nobody's being heard. Nobody is being heard, so you need to walk off. So that might be helpful if this is you and this is what's going on, because you've got two different mind thought processes. You've actually got one that's very logical, which is mostly men are actually logical, and that's the way their brain works. So it's wired that way. And then you have spiritual, which is more emotional, more feelings, more empathy kind of things, and that's mostly women. Now, you could be reversed. I've seen it very reversed, especially with a lot going on. So just be mindful who's the logical one and who's the spiritual one. Okay, we're not going to meet eye to eye, so let's figure this out, how we can compromise. And it is going to take work. It is taking work and taking and getting your ducks in the row. You know, and it takes, he's sitting there by himself working. You don't see him. The Three of Pentacles, actually, they're teaching and talking and working together kind of thing. He's by himself. He's figuring it out by himself. He's actually putting it one and one after the other. They're nicely aligned. He's making sure that but he's doing it alone. And so sometimes this self-work needs to be alone, whatever it is that you're doing. So I hate to say, but sometimes we need to look in the mirror and see where the issue may lie. So gosh, I just feel like I repeated this a couple. It's almost the same thing. I repeated this in another sign, but a lot of the times when we need to look at ourselves where things are coming from. So our expectations, whatever I expect, And whatever the reality is, expectations plus reality, the formula, equals whatever the emotion is. So if I expect him to understand me without me verbalizing it, my expectation is really dysfunctional and skewed, because the reality is he doesn't understand. And then the result is I'm frustrated, angry, because he can't read my mind. She can't read my mind. Guys don't work that way. If you ask a guy to do something, they'll do something. That's how they're built. If you don't ask, they're not going to do anything, or they aren't going to really know. And the only way that they will know, a lot of communication, or you end up doing this. Plus, we're stuck somewhere. Somebody has us stuck moving forward. And the thing is that we need to release that. We know it's not over. We know that with good communication, whatever it's happening this week, watering that garden, fertilizing the garden, working with the garden, focusing in ourselves and our job in that garden. You know, maybe I have certain chores in that garden I need to do. I'm the waterer, and then somebody else maybe weeds. You know, knowing what my job and my purpose is in that garden. I can hear somebody, oh, you're going to tell me now I've got a special kind of job. No, I didn't say male, female. I didn't say any of that at all. Just everybody has a role to play. Does that sound better? Because I heard somebody in my head, oh, here we go. This is she's talking about. No. Don't go there. All right, so let's see. So working on self. Wow. So that's happening a lot this week, it seems. There's the energies. We've got a meteor shower tonight. In the comet, we still can see it. It's actually a little bit further away. Yeah, so some discussions need to be told. There is something sort of not being shared, or truth not being shared, or something needs to come to the forefront. And that's what's sort of holding it up. So just maybe getting a standard and a boundary that you're both, no matter what, going to talk in the truth, walk in the truth kind of thing. Because you do want to stand your ground. Standing your ground. So this is basically saying, I'm standing my ground, but you're not hearing me, or you're not listening to me. So you might be able to hear somebody, but not listen to them. So when you're listening to them, you're actually 100% in thought, figuring out their perspective, listening to your perspective. Oh, they don't match up. Okay, so let me find out more information. Hearing is like, oh, okay, well, that's what you believe in. Oh, okay, well, I don't believe in that. Because you're just putting it in one ear and out the other. Listening is pulling it in, absorbing it, figuring it out in there, and then maybe outputting some more information that you need. So that's how you're going to get heard. You listen, they'll listen. But again, here we go. So there was supposed to be some travel. There was supposed to be some movement. I don't know which way. But there wasn't enough planning. There wasn't enough of that happening for that. So that's why whatever this is, maybe it is an argument over travel, vacation. Let me tell you, if you're arguing over a vacation, oh my goodness. Everybody needs a vacation, but why argue it over that? I mean, be blessed that you've got one. That's your harvest. That's your reward. Be blessed that you've got a vacation, or something's coming up that you're going to get to do with your family or friends, or make memories. And if that got halted, who halted it? That's my question. Who halted it? Who really actually put the kibosh on it? If that's the thing. Or maybe you were supposed to move. I know people, I have a family member that works in Disney, and I know when all this furlough happened and a lot of people were planning on moving to certain parts to work for Disney in certain parts, and that was kiboshed. So we have to learn to be more flexible, especially in this time now that things are changing, and find new ways for ourselves, and also be mindful and gentle of everybody else, because everybody else is going through that. So, yeah. So I don't know who this is for this. Now, like I said, this could be you. It could be also somebody coming at you with all this, saying, hey, I'm having a real hard time. I'm sort of arguing with so-and-so, or we're not getting along. It's about, so then put in your mind, who's the earth person, who's the spiritual person, that kind of thing. Or maybe you are going to somebody about this. So just remember that it's going to be fine, and it's just slow and steady. You have to work out the bumps. Just work out the bumps, and then that will be just cool and fine. So, but get to the point of, you need to work here. Let me do this. So you need to work on what is hidden here, because if you don't get to the truth, then somebody actually is either not being listened to, or they're going to be left out in the cold, literally. But in a sense, they're going to feel hurt because they're not being paid attention to, listening, or maybe they're left. And then you're both working hard. But this one here is you, for whatever reason. I don't know who that's for. You're working hard at whatever it is. All right. Okay, so Sagittarius, that is quite a reading. So it is going to end up really good. You just ran into a bump in the road, whatever this is for you. But it's not going to last, and it's also going to not end, if that's what you want. So it's all your decision and your strength. So if you're like, oh man, I wanted it to end, you have that power. If that's something that you wanted, if there's too much, if this is a relationship, you have to sort of weigh the pros and cons. If there's too much unhappiness versus the happiness, it's time to whoop. If it's a work, it causes too much stress and not enough, pleasure, at least fulfillment in your job, and you're getting stressed out and you're getting headaches and physically getting sick, I'll tell you from firsthand experience, it's time to find another job. So, I mean, I ended up in the hospital not too long ago because I didn't think I was that stressed out, but I knew that my company was causing me a lot of stress. It wasn't the company per se, it was my boss. And some of the people in there, some people can be really catty. I couldn't handle it. But the thing is, I didn't realize how much stress it was causing me. Time to dissipate, because life is way too short. Way too short. So anyway, so at this point in time, if you would please like and share and subscribe, especially subscribe since we're a new channel. There isn't anybody on right now for questions, so that's okay. But that's just to give you a tidbit to make sure that you get your questions ready if you have them. And please, every week we're going to be doing this on your signs live so that you can ask a question, get your question ready, invite a friend, have them subscribe. The only way that you're going to know, I was going to write a schedule, but I can't do that because it's all divine based who he wants me to read first in the week. And then each week after that, it's like, or each time I do a reading, each day I do 3 readings. And it just depends on who he wants on those days. So it's really hard for me to say, hey, I'm going to do Sagittarius on Tuesdays. I can't do that. It's based on divine. So the only way you're going to know is if you subscribe and hit that bell next to, once you subscribe, you'll get notified when I'm on live. And hopefully you can actually come and watch. Or you can actually come on to any of them and see and ask a question. It doesn't have to be your sign. So just come on and say and ask a question, but you have to subscribe to know when you're going to get notified. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week on August 10th for August 10th. Take care, guys. Be safe and get that communication down and nip this devil in the bud, whoever that is, because you got to tend your own gardens. You got to mind your own gardens and actually watch it bloom and glow. All right, talk to you later. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? I don't know. Anyway, take care, guys.